Oh, I was just telling my friend, it's time for the Improv Factory Show. Sorry. I'm
Wow.
sorry, Randy. I
That's
did that to Randy. I had to do that.
that's all right. That's all right. I was joking before. It's like it's starting to turn into a radio talk show with the sound effects. I'm loving
Well,
that.
we,
I'm
I
loving
went.
that groove. With the I like that
Thank you.
opening. That's
That's a
happening.
nice little samba. We went to ABC and they turned us down as a weekly series, so we decided to change the format. Now we're gonna make it we're gonna make it longer and slower. And so, uh, I think we're in a great going in a great direction now. It can't get any better than
Well, I've
what
already
we're at.
posted. I've already posted in the chat. We got some people joining us already. That I've
Cool.
said that we want to make you work for it today. So any ideas for some deep questions or challenges? I really want to include a segment of the show that I want to call Stump Dana, just because you know what? Because you inflict so
Oh
much
no.
pain on us that it's time for us to inflict it on you. But all joking aside, I'm always excited to do these shows. We're also fresh off a fantastic sold out masterclass. Yesterday we did our first 2 hour live modern blues mastery masterclass, and if you weren't there, you missed out, man. You outdid yourself on this one, Dana. Some of the stuff that you
Thank you.
brought up on that is there's a concept of, I'm not going to go deep into it, but the frames, all
Frames.
these restrictions, all of that, the back cycling, mind blowing stuff. It's, let's just say the blue scale was covered in the first 5 minutes, and the other 2 hours was everything that you could do other than the blue scale. A lot of fun. But today I've already posted. Those of you who are joining us, check on YouTube. There should be a link that's pinned. That's a PDF handout today of a couple of progressions that I think you're talking about. We have the major chord, the B flat major, so the dominant.
Yeah, well, I've got some exercises we're going to do, but this time uh, we've got a goal. We've got a reason to do them. I just wanted to bring, I keep bringing this up, but this is in the spirit of the old Grove classes, but also just, this is supposed to be like, hey, come over to my house and let's, throw some licks around and see, where it goes. And but we don't, we don't quite have that communication. I mean, you guys are more than welcome. I have cookies and balloons here. If you want to come over, they're free. But for those of you who can't get out here today, uh, yeah, I decided to I slapped together a handout because I wanted to work on major and dominant pentatonic starting off the same root. It's a huge thing, and everybody should have it nailed down. So we're going to do that. But see, we have something different. I I hear something in the background. Oh, that's the helicopter with the lick of the week.
There we go. I just think of Pink. I hear that and I think of Pink Floyd. The Walls like you, yes,
Oh,
you. It's like I'm thinking you're gonna kick into some Floyd.
there won't be a lick of the week next week, so you
It's
do. No, there may be.
it's just the lick of this week. All right. Well,
It's the
look,
lick, right?
I'm gonna stop yapping a second, but first I want to,
Okay.
we always have old friends and new on here, so old friends are probably already sick of my intro, but those of you that are new that don't know Dana, I always like to introduce because you deserve an introduction. Like he's what I call the ultimate triple threat musician, master fusion guitar player, world renowned educator, well respected composer, and first and foremost, Dana helps intermediate and advanced guitar players reach their true potential and develop their own unique voice and style. And you're consistently transforming guitar players' skills and techniques. You specialize in advanced guitar improv, and you've studied with legendary educators like Ted Green, Joe Pass, and of course Mr. Dick Grove. Over 4 decades as a professional player and educator, you've been on multiple releases with the world's hottest guitar players and the former program director at the legendary Grove School of Music. And uh, my biggest guitar pain in the butt every week because just when I get to learning something, there's always something new.
Always something.
And
Always.
with that, I'm going to
I
leave it to you.
I thank you, and thank you so much, Randy. The That's the truth. There's always something new. That's why I want to do this. Every day I sit down, and that's my intention. It's not to sit down and play this lick that I played 40 years ago. It's to do something that I've never done before, hopefully. And of course, I always preface that with that means you're going to make mistakes. So we make some mistakes, right? But we learn something new, we try something different, and that's what really matters. That's the core of getting somewhere and not learning a lick a week. Like I'm not going to name names or anything, Randy. Just that's the MO out there, isn't it? On social media.
I'm just gonna say something because I've been doing a lot of the promo stuff for a lot of the courses, and I was even joking about the other day. You're actually seeing me get a little more and more angry in each one that I'm doing because, and again, don't get me wrong, there's some great stuff out there. But there's so much that's coming out, and I'm like, and I'm in the groups, and I'm helping where I can, and I'm seeing some great stuff, but then there's some other stuff going up going, what are you talking about? Why are you spending all the time on that? That's not how music works. Like, just because you can do something mathematically doesn't mean that you could do it musically. And anyways, we're on a mission to civilize. I'm taking that from that's the newsroom show. And okay, now I'm going to stop yapping, and you start playing because you're no long intro.
No long intro. Okay, we're done. No, I have no intro.
Play.
I have no intro at all. Here we go. So this is the lick of the week, and it really is. I wanted to do this last week, and I realized that's why we've changed our format. Too frantic. I have a list on my computer. It goes farther than my screen goes. That's how far down it goes. I hope everybody got that joke. Okay, so and I'm like, I want to show this, I want to show that. But nobody's getting out of here without doing this, the lick of the week. It's in 9, okay? 9/4. And I like it a lot because it has 2 slides in it. One in a sort of a normal area, and then another one that ain't so normal. So for this one lick, we're going to be in E major, 6th shape. Okay, and I've been working on this thing just to let you know, sliding up. Sliding down from a higher shape, and getting. I'm always talking about even note per string, so this is a thing that you really get used to. And of course, you can do it up the whole shape. As far as slides down, you have to slide a 3rd. And so I work on both of them, like with the 9th here, for instance, or the 6th. But just the idea is we got a nice thing. So that's what this lick is sort of based on. So everybody, here we go. We're starting on the 2nd string, and we're just doing a sequence of 4. That's the first part. And now we're going to go up to the next highest shape and slide down. So, okay. One more time. Now we finish it off. We have this rolling thing going, right? And we're going to do this. So, one more time. 11. And now we're going to jump up an octave with our ring finger and slide again. Okay, so let's look at this lick as this is the first half. And then the next half is, I'm sorry. So here's the lick. And you can put the blue note in instead, right? It's so much fun. It just has that, you know, what I
You
like
know
is
which
that-
one I'm going to vote for, like right away when you
Oh,
did
I
the.
know, no, it's,
yeah,
it's
yeah.
Blue Note City.
Yeah.
But the thing is where that second slide is placed is not, that's not common, is it? I mean, you don't, that isn't the first lick you come up with in the morning. So it's sort of fun. Now, it's been a week. I took it through a couple of shapes. And it's just, I was doing this actually thinking in minor. But it'd be nice in major too, couldn't it? Let's see. Yeah, that works for me.
And just to clarify, this is you doing an example of where you say, take a lick, turn it into a paradigm, move it around the neck, and right now you're using the shape, you're using the pentatonic scale shape as your restriction to maintain the contour of that lick. Is that am I saying that
That is
correctly?
why Randy is here, and I'm not. I know why Randy is here helping us. Yes, that's the idea. Don't learn this lick and then go have lunch. That's what it is. If that's cool, but make this thing that lick if you dig it, and or whatever lick you come up with, make it work for you. And if the only way to do that is to take it through all 5 shapes, and it's also it's something we call melodic contour. This is melodic contour in a more basic way, just using the 5 shapes, but of major / minor pentatonic. Now I really haven't done this one here. This is off a third. We were at 6th shape, right, when we did this first lick, and then I brought it to 5th shape. So, and as I moved up, I had to move up to 6th shape to. So here's 3rd shape, right? We think in major pentatonic. These are the visual guide tones, folks. So this is 3rd shape. Now we've got one of those minor 3rd slides. But that's very cool. And I have no problem with large slides like that. We should try to develop some kind of comfort zone. I'm not saying I'm real good at it, but I do quite often work on trying to feel comfortable with them, because with a minor 3rd slide, we've got a timing issue. Definitely, you know. Yes. So, I'm sorry, I was in the wrong. That's more difficult to get in on time, man.
Well, and there's one thing I just want to underline as you're doing this, because one of the beautiful byproducts of even just doing this as an exercise, is like I'm a type of player that tends to think rhythmically first, where I'll get this rhythmic phrase, then I get a bit of I build like a thematic element. Let's say I'm actually building a solo, and I'm constructing something that's melodic. I'm working on a track, but I'm moving rhythmically across the neck, going, how can I take this and build a theme, build an actual statement, whether it's
Yes.
I'm doing the pattern
Right.
twice, maybe I'm doing it 3 times, maybe doing a column response. So right away, doing this and baking it into your practice, you're doing that while you're playing anyway, so you might as well get a lot of that out of the way so you'll get to that thinking quicker.
This is it, we're doing the idea of turning it into a paradigm, but we're talking about the lick. But there's a larger paradigm, a larger model than that. It's this. The idea of owning the slides from above or below. So I could go, and I could do it from the other direction. Isn't that nice? So that was just spontaneous. And I see Randy's eyes lit up there. No, I won't do it there. I'll do it on the second string. And don't we do this all the time? So anytime you put an articulation on a note, it's going to be, it's killer. So this is the same note. But the reason we have so many licks from so many great guitar players, all our trailblazing friends in the 70s and 60s, is they'll hit this note and then they put some kind of articulation as they repeat it. Like, I'm on an acoustic here, so bear with me, but that bending up is an articulation into the note. So we can, but the same thing with the slide is another articulation. So, anyways,
But you're including the articulation in the shape. I shouldn't say the shape in the phrase as you're moving it around. Like
Yes,
that's part of the paradigm. Is like the articulation is on this
right.
note. I got you.
So that's the bigger paradigm. We're saying, okay, well, we've got 5 shapes that we can work on any lick we come up with. It could just be as simple as right. Everything doesn't have to be a huge. So that's what we want to work on is phrasing. Now, I can do that spontaneously because I've been doing that forever, man. Just create a phrase. That's you want to, what do we want to be? We want to be a fountain of motifs. Just little motif factories. So I assure you, those of you who know me know, I could do this for 5 hours straight and never do the same thing. Come up with another. It's not because I'm a fantastic guitar player, patting myself on the head. It's I put in the time, I put in the work, and looked at each idea as its own paradigm. So. There's just a little, slide into. So I might say, oh, I like this. That's a sort of a favorite of Randy's, I think. So the paradigm is not just the half step below, but the idea of first finger sliding down and back up,
So how about you give me the let's cap this section off with the lick of the week one more time in its
All
entirety
right.
that somebody's got to take
Okay.
across the neck, and then I want to move you to the
B
examples
flat
that you set
major.
up because I really
Right.
want to see us do that.
Okay. Cool. Oh, and I've got my little. Okay. So here it is again. Sequence of four. Then the slide. That's actually sequence of four too, right? One and two and so 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, and that's where everything gets displaced. So I have to be honest. With the slide, I do it sometimes differently. I'll after the slide, I start sometimes with an up pick. It's an odd time sequence. There's no doubt about it. So I try to feel comfortable with it both ways. Um, and I don't know. You might see. Okay, there's that lick. I'm glad I got that out of my system. I really have fun with that for some reason. I
I
just
love it,
love
and if anybody
how it's
wants
offset.
if
Go
anybody
ahead.
wants access to that, what I'll do is maybe I'll get an exercise done
Oh,
and throw it in the practice planner because that's just
cool.
that alone, and maybe I could we could do a couple of examples of getting that idea of taking it, taking it as a paradigm and moving it along the neck because it's something that
Oh,
doesn't click, I think, right away for some people, but once it does, it changes your world. It really does.
it really does, yeah. And to develop more and more of a freedom, like I feel pretty comfortable anytime in even note per string playing, just adding that in. But I would love to work on getting better at saying anytime I want to do that. You know, that's that. I was lucky I even finished that. That's not normal to me. Sorry. So I'm going 1, 2, 3, then the slide. That's not. So for that to become second nature, that means you can take a just a basic lick and permutate the you know what out of it. Wow, that's what we want to do, right? We want to create our killer little motif, a 3 note fragment, 5 note, whatever it is, and then do something to it. So everybody, that's what real improvisation is, right? We we create a motif and then we do something with it. Okay, now we're moving in. The rest of this is in the key of B flat. We're starting again on sixth shape. We know that we start at the lowest shape of whatever key when we're going to do exercises like this. So the lowest shape of B flat major pentatonic is sixth shape. That's because we don't ever use open strings. For any of you who are people who are new here, love open strings, beautiful thing, but not when we're doing pentatonic sequences or exercises. Okay, and for those of you, just a quick idea. Anytime you want to find the lowest shape, it's got to start from one of these three notes: F, F sharp, or G. Here's D major pentatonic, F sharp, G, C, F, D flat, etc., etc. So it's going to be all 12 keys. Right here, you're going to find the lowest shape off of one of those three tones. Okay, so I want to move back to. I'm really excited about U-turns and bring, like I would bring this to a friend and say, man, this is transformed, and then that isn't a good enough word. It's just changed everything about the way I feel about playing through pentatonic. So we were working on U-turn 2, and we'll do that We'll do that first. Just stay consistent a little bit. Here's the idea. Here's B flat major pentatonic, starting on the sixth shape. Okay, and we're going to start now with the highest note on the sixth string and go down. Now, when we go to the fifth string, it's like we're just playing pentatonic shape across normally. Okay, no problem so far. When we get to the fourth string, that's where we start U turn 2. Right? So, and now we're back. And that's the reason I started with this being the first note. So here's the idea. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... I shouldn't be counting because we're going to turn this into an endless array of exercise, an endless exercise, that keeps widening the gap between the U-turn. So here we go. So what did I do? I went to the third string now. So now my U-turn starts here. This is a really good exercise, folks. So that's the whole exercise. You have anything? Okay. So you see what's happening? We start with the U-turn here. Then the next time. But what I wanted to do was turn it all into one exercise. Listen, folks, everything is just endless eighths, what I call center line. We don't care. We're not in 4 or 7 or 13 or 92. This is just eighths, man. And we're trying to get this freedom of... That's where we want to be, right? Even just...
And I was going to say that's such an important distinction, because that was one thing that you brought up to me a bunch of times, and it sort of it's almost like, I don't know, like somebody doing exercises or out running. It's like you're always trying to go a little longer, a little more distance, put a little more effort. And what started becoming a thing for me was how long I could start doing this centerline eighth note concept with uninterrupted, and it's a lot tougher than you first think. Like, because first you go, oh, you get cocky going, oh, I'm in one position, oh, I can do this, it's 6 shape, who cares, right? Then all of a sudden you're going, oh, 2 shapes, oh, then 3 shapes. Then now it's like, oh, now you're going maybe a little, you got your cascading, you're going crossing shapes, and but once you start doing it, first of all, then you're like, oh my God, I've been doing it 30 seconds. Oh, I've been doing it 2 minutes. I've been doing it 6 minutes. And it's just...
But you've been doing it, but with different things. It's not the same thing. It's not a lick you're doing over and over, and the whole neck is opening up. We don't want to do licks anymore. That you just sit in one stupid position. I'm getting angry now. Stop it. Go out and tell your friends to stop it. So it doesn't matter if it's slow. And now here's the U-turn. As I explained to beginning intermediate students, we have something called boot camp. I did a whole thing about if you can do this just here and have that freedom, when you stop and start again, oops, that's a phrase. You're doing a phrase now.
So now I want you to ruin a few people's Sunday by going from major pentatonic, you turning or going into Dom Pen, because this is now
Randy's
because
keeping
you
me in
get a
line.
little
I really
cocky
appreciate it.
and you think
I
like, hey,
know.
I'm doing this, and all of a sudden, oh, it's a whole different scale shape now.
I'm a big yapper. Okay, so there's the exercise. You know what it is. Okay, now we're going to turn that into B flat Dom Pent. And unfortunately for some of you who aren't feeling comfortable with all the shapes, this is flat 7 shape. So I'm going to count it off and we'll all do it together slowly. So it's like 1 and 2 and really, really slow. So see when it gets too slow for me? I made a mistake right off the bat. We'll do it there. 3 and 4 and. Ouch. I don't know why that's really weird to me. That I could, like up here, it's easier for me. That's so bizarre. Okay, well that has something to do with a brain cell that has been transmorgified into something. So, okay, there's these exercises. You want to take. We're going to go. We're not going to do that right now. You guys are going to do that and go. Oh, here's root shape. Okay, so you do that through every shape. That means, I do that and I go, I own something when I do that. I get up in the morning and do that or something very similar. Now, the reason we have a handout is because I don't want you to just sit there and go, okay, this is an exercise, blah, 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 blah. I want you to have some context. Here's B flat major. Like here's B flat major 6/9. And then here's A flat 13 sharp 11. For those Grovians out there, that's chord family 6, isn't it? We hear this in jazz a lot, yes. But I've heard ballads, you know. Okay, so this is true practical application. I'm so bad with my little looper, but I'm going to try it here. So let's just see if I can get this going. We got 1, 2, there's the first. Does that work or what? There's B flat Dom, Pent, and when we think of these altered chord types, everybody wants to think melodic minor, except the good folk. I don't mean
Lydian
that. I'm thinking about
dominant, Lydian
Red.
dominant. I get it. I get no, but all joking aside,
Okay.
like I think I want to underline a point here, and it, this is the absolute starting point for pivoting between two keys, right?
This,
That's a momentary key change between those
and
two chords.
thank you, Randy. Yes, we're doing a series called The Pivot. So you'll see this. You may see this in the progression. Right? Well, right off the bat, man, we are in B flat, and now we are not. Right? This is considered the 4 chord in minor, but it really we're thinking B A flat, Lydian dominant. So when you know your harmony, you know that that scale really has two dominant pentatonic shapes superimposed. I'll give you an example. Here. Right? Those two superimposed on each other equal melodic minor, or what we like to think of as Lydian dominant. But I'm sorry, did I miss? Did I get to the point you brought up?
No, you did, yeah. Because I just wanted to point out
Okay.
that because we're doing two, it's like we're doing the major pentatonic and the dominant pentatonic, and isolated, it feels like one thing. Then you put it over the chord progression, but sometimes it doesn't click for people that's like, oh, even because both say B flat, but you are changing keys.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So we're dealing with a momentary key change. Now, let me do. I'm going to do a different one. Uh, and this is way common. I mean, this is just in all kinds of genres. Here's B flat. And I think that progression is on the page. So let me do this really quick. 1, 2, ready. Oh, I'm sorry. Forgot what I was doing here. 1, 2, ready, go. How many? I mean, pop, smooth jazz, boom, 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 one after another, right? Dig this. That was B flat major, played B flat major pentatonic, B flat 7. That's the 5 chord setting up the 4. That's so common, it's ridiculous, right? Over and over. So there's B flat major pentatonic, B flat dom pent. Guess what we play over E flat major 9? For those of you who are hip to this, we play what's called major 9 shape. In other words, major pentatonic a fifth up. So we go back to B flat major pentatonic over this E flat major 9 chord. And then we just went over this A flat. There you go. B flat major, B flat dom. B flat major, B flat dom.
And I guess there's a core takeaway here that again I want to just punctuate this is the tendency is you start looking at complex progressions like this and people go down rabbit holes, but at the end of the day it's absolutely mandatory that you're going to have to do the 5 major pentatonic shapes across the neck in every key, and then you're going to have to do the same thing for dom pen, which is setting up melodic minor / Lydian dominant. Like that's like going, if you want to design buildings, there are certain laws of physics that you just absolutely have to know to become an architect. Like this is
Right.
non-negotiable, and people argue this all the time. It's like, I don't need this, I don't need that. I'm like, Sure, if you want to sit on the top of a mountain and play a couple of licks once every 6 months, but you got to do this, right? And
Right,
it's so
right,
systematic.
exactly. The go-to thing here, we were just talking about the blues. That's what we'd find. Blues off the relative minor. So, and I'm not laughing at. I'm sorry. I'm laughing because that's the normal fallback. I love it. I love that sound. It sounds great, right? But you can't. That's a one-trick pony. So when you want to phrase and bring in new ideas, you want to see the whole scale source. And for those of you who are asking, you're saying, well, B flat dominant pentatonic isn't. Yeah, B flat dom pent is not the whole ball of wax, is it? It's Lydian dominant. But what I've been trying to get to with my students for 40 years is dom pent is the frame. There's no, I just pick and choose when I want to add those extra tones. Oh, sorry. Oh, forgive me. I don't. I can use this shape or this. That's A flat dom, or I can fill it in whenever I want to with the other notes. How can I do that? I can do it all over the neck because I know these shapes first, and then I fill in the dom pent. I mean the Lydian dominant scale. Here it is up here. This is the way to own this stuff. You know, it doesn't matter what style it is, does it? It just absolutely doesn't matter. They're just notes. That's it. So you're not turning into Pat Martino if you learn Dom Pen. You know, but if you want to work and get out there and be able to handle, like, uh, I I used to play casuals. You just go to a wedding and somebody, the musical director, somebody wants to talk for 5 minutes, and this is our vamp, right? Okay, and so yeah,
And there's exactly that. It's like that ties directly to making cash. There's a cocktail hour. Now it sounds like, oh, by the way, we didn't know. Can the three of you could play, for 90 minutes? Oh, if you
right.
have this in your back pocket, you can
stuff. Right now.
So
I better get.
I want to do one. I want to do
the other examples, right?
Yeah, but the takeaway here is, let's say, even just to get through the examples on this page, somebody who maybe is struggling with this a little bit, start with B flat major pentatonic, all 5 shapes on the neck. B flat dominant pentatonic, all 5 shapes on the neck. Then try and go between the two, and then try and do that between the two over these progressions. And that's
I would save the progressions. I would just alter that a little bit. I would say it's, just we have one note difference, folks. That's all. So you could sit with root shape and just dig where that, start to hear what that difference is.
so like the 8 primary 4-note sequences going between shapes.
So
4 and 4. Got you.
Be perfect. So beautiful.
And if anybody wants those, I have PDFs for both. Just hit me up, email, and I'll set you up.
it's so melodic instantly. You don't have to think, man. And just do a little phrasing and you're done. Yikes. Everything you do is just going to be, it's all going to be okay.
So before we run out of time, let's go a little deeper on that sheet. Grab
Okay.
one with a little hot sauce on it, and
Okay, here
really
we go.
r- let's take
Now,
this to the nth degree.
what is B flat 13? I ask you. I say, well, what if we put an E in the bass? Then what is B flat 13 with an E in the bass for you high thinkers behind the curtain? Well, it's chord family 8, folks. That means all 4 alterations. E7, raise 9, raise 5, flat 9, flat 5. Right? So if I go B flat, to E7, raise 9.
I was going to say the raised 9.
No,
I'll
flat,
translate.
flat, flat,
But I'm going to translate it to people talk. The Hendrix chord, baby. That's the Hendrix chord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's raised 9. Yeah, that's raised 9. Yes, the Hendrix chord. Okay, but no, we're not going to do that right now. It's too complicated. So, yes, the Hendrix chord. Anything like that, right? So we've got what's happening though here is when we go to this leads really nicely to A minor. So you might have a progression that was right. So that is that common? Oh, yes, very, very much so. So here's, let's see if I can do this really quick. Do it a little faster. Let's see. You see, so when you get into more advanced harmony, you start to see the interrelationship between this and this, and it changes your life. So to me, this and this and this are all the same chord. And for those of you who are thinking melodic minor and doing what I'm going to just say it out loud, and I'll do it forever, the most stupid transpositions. Oh, now I got to think up a minor third. Oh, now I got to think up a half step. Oh, now I got to think up a fifth. It's just no good. By the time the chords, by the time you figured it out, the chord's gone in any moderate tempo tune. So this, it's all one chord to me. So that's the 2 chord in minor, 5 altered, flat 2. Just saying.
And
One
anybody
last
watching,
one.
I'm just going to say, anybody watching, if you really want to dig into this stuff, we have a ton of material on that in the Fretboard Freedom program, which goes into everything into the chord families, some of the harmony of that stuff, and applying this stuff from day 1 to day 1001. Like it goes from start to really to finish. So I just want to let people know that even though, because you're firing some stuff off this pretty quick, but if you really want to know about this stuff, just put a message in the chat, reach out via email, and I'll direct you to exactly what you need to learn at the level that you're at and get you to jump in there. And okay, Dana, let's wrap it up with A
Last one
fireball.
here.
Like, give me one that's just
This is
gonna
the
melt my
fireball.
brain. I want it to
No,
hurt.
you guys, it's it's not that bad. So here's B flat major again, and now instead of E7 altered, we're going to do the same thing, a whole step down, D7 altered. How many quadrillion tunes do this? Let's see. Well, that's D7 raised 9, let's say. Now we're just going, that's the 5 in G minor. And then I went back to our A flat 13 just to finish it off. 1, 2, ready, go. Whoops. What can I tell you? The same thing's happening here. It's B flat dom pent over this chord represents the raised 9 raised 5 shape, and so of course you should, if you don't understand this stuff, again we have reference materials. It's not something you do in a month or two. It's real work. Every ounce of that work is so worthwhile, so very worthwhile. So as Randy said, those of you who are beginner, I mean more intermediate or beginning intermediate, you have to learn the 5 shapes of pentatonic, major pentatonic. I suggest you learn them with visual guide tones. In other words, off the scale degrees, and they become the frame for the major scale. So this is just absolutely the foundation of playing. Every guitar player has to know the 5 shapes of pentatonic. I don't care if they become all 3-note per string players or whatever. If they want to gig, they better know pentatonic as well, right? That's all there is.
And that's exactly it. I think that you see so many in most of the groups and online, like so many people are arguing about the idiosyncrasies of some stuff that's just like the mechanics are the mechanics. Like none of us are arguing that you must do something some way in application, like you have to phrase like this. Like none of that matters if you don't have any of the mechanics down. And the mechanics, most of them are an absolute. Like the 5 shapes are the 5 shapes. Do them. Like just get them out of the way so you can move on to the cool stuff. Because if you're still struggling with that, you're never going to get to the cool stuff. Yeah.
No, and the concept of tagging tones alone is worth the idea of owning the 5 shapes of major / minor pentatonic. When we tag the note for the blues, when we tag it for, we were talking about the blues, we're talking about B.B. King. Let me do it here.
I love this. Explain that because just very quickly. Let's end on that because that blew my mind. Because people talk about the blues and the blues scale, and that's not the blues scale, but it sounds so bluesy.
No, that's it. I was listening to BB's most famous solo, according to YouTube, and I was going, wait a minute, he's barely using the blues scale, the blue note. And he was using a tag, like if we say, here's a 5-note scale, that's pentatonic, and we put the blue note in, that's what the blues scale is. It's a 6-note hybrid. Well, what he was doing is this. He's adding, I call that Dorian tag, right? So there's the...
And on that, we're gonna play out on the blues. Dana, thank you so much for doing this every Sunday. We're doing our best to come on here live and do these things. If you're digging this show, feel free to share the link. The replay stays up for a week. Share it with your friends. Share it when we go live. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel to get your notifications. Any links during the show, I'm posting in the chat. And at any time, just reach out. If there's anything we can help you with, we're here either via email, on Facebook, Instagram, all of the grams. And Dana, thank you.
Are we on all the grams?
We're on all the grams. Thank you
Okay.
again for doing this. I absolutely love
Hey,
it. I hope
guys.
everybody is loving it out there. And we'll see you again, same time, same place,
Same time.
next
I
week.
may not have as cool a sound effects as I did this week, but hey, you can't have everything, guys.
Exactly. All right, guys. Thank you so
Again,
much for hanging out,
take
and we'll
care,
see you again
everybody.
next week. Take care.